and they delivered nothing but disaster. And now let's see how a communist does in New York. We're going to see how that works out. And we'll help them. We'll help them. We want New York to be successful. We'll help them a little bit, maybe. For all of these failed and discredited, really discredited, if you think, ideologies of the past, their day is over, their grip is broken, and their time is absolutely done. The golden age of America has begun, and we are just getting started. It's a golden age like you've never seen before. From the steel mills of Pittsburgh to the oil wells of Houston, from the car plants of Detroit, and those car plants are pouring into our country, to the coal mines of West Virginia. Those coal mines are opening up one after another. Clean, beautiful coal. You're not allowed to use the word coal unless you say, in my administration, unless you use two words before it. Clean and beautiful. Biden would say, unless you use two words before it, here you go, clean. He said, what happened to the other word? Remember those things? He'd say three words and mean two. But the West Virginia mines are doing unbelievable now. Wyoming is doing unbelievable. It's clean, beautiful coal. And from the bright lights of Las Vegas to right here in beautiful Miami, America is proud. America is confident. America is growing and successful. America is a great nation again. We're a great nation again. It's happened faster than I thought. I'll be honest again. We're respected by everybody. We are really, you see the way I get treated. I get treated that way. I guess a little has to do with me, but a lot has to do with the fact that I'm representing this country. America is respected again. America is a great nation again. The American dream is surging back to life, and we will never let the American dream die. Together we will make our country stronger, richer, safer, freer, and greater than ever before. And every day my administration will fight, 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 and America will win, win, win. I want to thank you, Miami. I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank everybody for being here. God bless you and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
All right, we've been watching President Trump there live in Miami at the Business Forum. America's proud, confident, and growing, touting his policies on the economy in particular. And reaction to last night's elections, right, John? He said we lost a little bit of sovereignty last night in New York, but the president assured we'll take care of that, he said.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he said that we'll help Mamdani out. He said a little bit. He said they care about New York, and so he wants to make sure that the Big Apple stays as bright as it's always been. I mean, don't forget, one of the people that he talks to a lot is Jamie Dimon from J.P. Morgan Chase. Earlier today, Mamdani was saying that he'd be happy to sit down with Dimon. Dimon just spent $3 or $4 billion on a brand new headquarters there, so clearly he's not thinking of moving anywhere soon. So got to make New York work.
Got a little dance in there from the president on the stage, and a nice shout out to our own Brett Baier and his son. Brett's going to be interviewing the president on his show Special Report tonight. He's going to sit down with Brett, I believe, after he walks off that stage. So we'll be watching for that, John.
He will. Nice shout out to his son, Paul, as well, who we know has gone through so many medical problems, but came out the other side and is strong and beats his father and the president in golf whenever they play. All right, let's bring in Trey Gowdy, host of Sunday Night in America, for more on all of this. The president talking about tariffs. Big case before the Supreme Court, Trey, on whether or not the president is within his legal authority to put these tariffs on all of these countries around the world. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you framed the issue exactly right, John. This is not about whether the Supreme Court likes tariffs or thinks they raise revenue. It's about whether or not that was a constitutional delegation, that Emergency Powers Act, where Congress just said, look, this is really our job, but we're going to give it to you, executive branch. Was that a proper delegation of power? And here's the good news for the president. I mean, look, he really believes in tariffs as a revenue producer, as a playing field leveler. He believes in them. But even if these tariffs don't survive this particular act, there are other acts to use, and God forbid that Congress actually weigh in and get involved with tariffs. I mean, Congress can ratify and validate these tariffs tomorrow. So it's not like the tariffs have to go away, even if the Supreme Court rules against it.
What did you think of the case he made on the economy in this speech just now, Trey, considering the outcome of these elections last night and how very center of those campaigns was the affordability crisis, particularly here in New York City?
Yes, Andrew, the president has a lot of great qualities. Subtlety is not always one of them. I think what he was getting at was if you would talk more about the success we've had, we would not have had a bad night last night. I mean, there's no way to put a sugarcoat on what happened last night. I mean, Glenn Youngkin, that flip, New Jersey wasn't close. New York, I mean, those of us in South Carolina really didn't follow that race, and we're not surprised at it, but it does impact y'all. I think what the president's saying is, look, y'all got to talk more aggressively and persuasively about the success we have had, and do not get distracted. I mean, you look at the headlines recently, Sandra, and you got an apoplectic congresswoman who's having a psychotic episode in Charleston at an airport. You've got this debate over white nationalism. I think Trump is saying, Republicans, quit talking about all of that. Start talking about the best 10 months any president has ever had in our history, and maybe we have a chance in the midterms.
Yeah, I would think that the Mamdani thing is a bigger issue for Democrats than it is for Republicans. But there are a lot of people who are agreeing with you, Trey, to say, look, if you want to do well in the midterms, stop talking about all those peripheral issues and just narrow the focus in on what people really care about, and that's the economy.
Yes. Well, the number one issue, and look, crime matters to me a lot. But I saw that it pulled pretty low last night. So as much as I may like talking about it, it's not what the jury wants to hear about.
That's a good point. Trey, thank you very much for sticking
Thanks,
with us.
Trey.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Quick break. We'll be right back.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
You can get this fixed now and pay later. You can get this fixed now and pay later. And this. Get it fixed now and pay later in 4 interest-free payments at SafeLight.com.
SafeLight Repair, SafeLight Replace.
Wow. Lo and behold.
I know that walk anywhere.
Welcome to the set of Tulsa King. It's a privilege to see you here.
Oh, my God. What a treat.
Likewise.
Can't thank you enough for being here on your set. My goodness.
Welcome to the bar at Tulsa King.
When I first met you, you said to me that you wanted to help out.
Whenever we can take our ability to bring focus onto what your cause is, it's an honor to be chosen to do this for you.
What draws you to help our American heroes?
The least we can do, or people that have the means, is contribute to these incredible people that don't get any recognition at all, but they're the real heroes. We're kind of movie heroes. They make us. We're fictional. They're real.
If any first responder or Gold Star widow has someone die in the line of duty and they leave a young family behind, we pay every mortgage off in America.
Which is such a humane thing to do, to take care of the people that have taken care of us.
Exactly. It's simple.
It's really simple math.
This coming year, we're building a special 100 smart homes for the catastrophically injured service members and first responders.
The stuff that you take for granted that they can't do, and now they can.
And over the last 2 years, we've taken over 10,000 homeless veterans off the streets. We get them all the comprehensive services they need to assimilate back into society.
Every one of them deserves a home and to feel safe, considering what they've contributed to this country's safety and future.
People know that when they make a donation, their money is gonna go to these heroes.
True. It's like guaranteed in the bank. And everyone, this is money well spent, and you know exactly where it's going, into these people's lives.
Well, thank you very much.
And keep punching.
Thank you. God bless.
I'm Sylvester Stallone. Please donate $11 a month at t2t.org.
Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold or Flu Fizzy Chews. Chew, fizz. Feel better fast. No water needed. Alka-Seltzer Plus Fizzy Chews.
Things are a little different here on Riverbend Ranch. Our days start a little earlier, and our meetings don't take place in boardrooms. and the folks gather around the water hole rather than the water cooler. Truth is, all our cattle are born and raised right here in the USA, and we raise them a lot different than most outfits. I'm told that most city folks don't know that up to 90% of cattle grown in America have been implanted with artificial growth hormones and fed antibiotics. But at Riverbend Ranch, we raise our calves the old-fashioned way, and they're never given growth hormones and never fed antibiotics. That's because we don't like to mess with Mother Nature. We believe that cattle grown naturally is not only better for the cattle, but also better for those who show up for dinner. We think you'll notice it's more tender and has a better flavor. That's because 35 years ago, we began selecting genetics for our Angus herd focused on flavor and tenderness. 35 years of genetic selection. And that's made all the difference. Angus beef is special, but wait till you taste our Angus beef. One bite will say it all. Order from riverbendranch.com. We ship directly from our ranch to your home. Riverbend Ranch. Real American beef.
All right, we're going to jump into the picture here. These are swastikas, okay? This is breaking today. First time we're getting a look at this. Plastered outside a New York City synagogue. On the same night that Zohran Mamdani was elected mayor, his anti-Israel rhetoric became a big talking point, you'll remember, throughout the race. Mamdani called the swastikas disgusting and told reporters earlier today he has Jewish New Yorkers' backs. All right, so let's bring in James Freeman. He's joining me at the board right now as we jump into some of the findings in this race. Okay. Welcome to you, James.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Good of you to be here. Just want to show you some of the key takeaways from the race last night in our Fox News voter poll. Mm-hmm. When we asked about Israel, and we didn't quite dig into this last night, but we will now. For your vote, the candidate, how important were the candidates' positions on Israel, considering some of the things that we heard from Mamdani throughout his race? Of those who said it was a major factor, which was a majority of respondents, 38%, the vote was split. Mamdani Cuomo tied with those voters.
I think traditionally this has been a more pro-Israel city. So this is a big win, you could say, for Mamdani. Sadly, I thought it was interesting when Andrew Cuomo came to see us several weeks ago. I thought he was going to tell us about how young people were embracing socialism. No, it was all about Gaza, according to him. It was a revulsion from young people seeing TikToks suggesting children being killed, and obviously a lot of violence there, a lot of Hamas propaganda, and I think that did have a big impact on the turnout in the Democratic primary and then in the general.
Considering the largest Jewish population is right here in New York City in America. So this was a big, stunning number last night as well. Of those that consider themselves a democratic socialist, okay, this is the New York City mayoral race, 24%, 1 in 4 voters responded yes. I mean, think about that. That is an incredible number. And of course, when you break that down by vote, those voters cast their ballot for Mamdani.
Yeah, so this is a very left-wing city. It has been for a long time. I think maybe this is a number that says to the rest of the country, the whole country is not turning to socialism. You look at the Gallup polling nationwide, it really hasn't changed. It's more popular than it should be, but still a minority. But look, I think what you're seeing is, why do you take a chance on a kook like Mamdani? And I think what it really is about is we are a city where, unfortunately, people feel maybe they have the luxury to not prioritize public safety. You compare it to earlier eras. And I think we're going to not wait, but I think the voters of New York will regret this decision. But for now, it's a relatively safe place.
Pretty incredible stuff. And to think that those Democrat socialists, some of them voted for Cuomo. James, good of you to be here. Sorry, we're rushed on time. All right, John, to you.
All right, Sam, breaking today, the Trump administration reportedly set to reach a deal with weight loss drug producers to make them more affordable. Let's bring in board-certified rheumatologist Dr. Masa Tehrani for more on this. This is a deal with Novo Nordisk out of Denmark and Eli Lilly as well for things like Zepbound, Mounjaro, Ozempic, Wegovy, maybe as low as $150 a month for some people. What kind of a benefit might that be to people who feel that they really need to lose some weight?
This is great news, really exciting, John. The GLP-1s, obviously, they manage diabetes and help shed the weight, right? But they have a new indication almost every other week. They help prevent heart attacks, strokes. Now they can decrease the progression of chronic kidney disease, even help with rheumatoid arthritis. Multiple indications. The problem has been this bottleneck of accessibility. Patients just can't afford it. And now if we increase accessibility to these drugs, then it will dramatically improve the health of our nation. And aside from that, looking at it from a financial lens, these chronic conditions are costing our country hundreds of billions of dollars every year. Just cardiovascular disease last year cost us $418 billion. So in the long term, if we're managing and preventing and mitigating these chronic diseases, that'll translate into huge cost savings.
We don't really have details of the deal, but I mean, for some people whose insurance won't pay for it, they're looking at thousands of dollars a month to be on these drugs. But there's also potentially a downside because they do have side effects for some people.
These are drugs. All drugs have potential side effects, but you have to look at the cost-benefit analysis. And I do have to say, if I had to pick one drug in the past few decades, these GLP-1s are the blockbuster drug. They have helped significantly multiple medical conditions. And I think that the benefits far outweigh any potential risks. Of course, it has to be an individualized decision. Somebody who has a specific type of thyroid cancer is not a good candidate. Yeah. So it has to be individualized.
Sometimes we get these drugs out there. They're like miracle drugs, and then we find out years later, oh, geez, they were not so good for you. Any indication of that with this?
We have had a few signals, but many people are on it, and the data is strong that it's beneficial in the right patient population.
All right, so we'll look forward to that announcement from the president tomorrow morning, I think about 11 o'clock. Again, we don't know the full details, but it might make these drugs a lot more affordable for a lot.
Excited to learn more about it.
Doc, great to see you. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, that was a busy afternoon with a big speech from the president there in Miami.
Always interesting, isn't it, John? So good to be with you. And thanks so much to everybody for joining us. I'm Sandra Smith.
And I'm John Roberts. Be sure to follow our social media accounts for all things America Reports. We will see you tomorrow for what we like to call around here Friday Eve. The Story with Martha starts right now.
Thank you very much, you guys. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Martha McCallum, and this is The Story. We've got a big lineup for you this hour as everybody comes to The Story to weigh in on the meaning of last night's election. Ben Shapiro joins me moments away. Retired NYPD chief, he very recently retired, John Schell, with what the reaction among New York City police officers is to the election of Zohran Mamdani. They have had a very contentious relationship, so he's going to weigh in on what he thinks will happen now at the NYPD, how many people will leave as a result of this, or can they find a way to work together? Also, a warning about the dangers of socialism from a woman who survived Mao's communist rule and came to America. She knows it firsthand.
I've been very alarmed about what's going on in our school. You are now training our children to be social justice warriors and to loathe our country and our history. Growing up in Mao's China, all this seemed very familiar.
But first, live just moments ago, it just wrapped, President Trump celebrating the anniversary of his historic election win for president of 2024 just 9 months ago today. So he was speaking at the American Business Forum in Miami after Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani's mayoral victory in the largest city in America, in New York. Watch.
We lost a little bit of sovereignty last night in New York, but we'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. We rescued our economy, regained our liberty, and together we saved our country. On that magnificent night, 365 days ago. But now the Democrats are so extreme that Miami will soon be the refuge for those fleeing communism in New York City.
Marcus Lemonis is here, host of The Fixer on Fox Business and Fox Nation. Marcus, great to have you with us.
Thank you.
You were born in Miami, from Florida, right?
Born in Beirut.
Born in Beirut.
Legal immigrant into Miami.
Yeah. Okay. As a young man.
Yeah.
So give me a reaction when you look at what happened last night here in New York. All right, just hold that thought 1 second. We have to go to the NTSB on this plane crash, terrible plane crash in Kentucky. We're getting an update on that live, and then we'll be right back. Watch.
In highway events, We also issue safety recommendations aimed at preventing future losses. Now, before I go any further, on behalf of the entire NTSB, I want to just express our sincere condolences to those who were not only affected by losing family members in this accident, but those that were also injured and those that are still missing. It is a tough day for Louisville, for Kentucky. It's a tough day as being a Kentuckian myself. And I know what a great community this is, how impactful those people that suffered and have died are, and we've seen it all day. We know it is tearing at the community, and we're deeply sorry. And we are here to try to find out not only what happened, but why it happened, and more importantly, how do we prevent it from happening again? So here is some factual information we have at this time. And I'm going to read a few notes to make sure we have it exact. The airplane involved was a McDonnell Douglas II, which was then altered to be an MD-11F. The F stands for freighter. It is now handled by the Boeing Corporation. So whenever you hear that Boeing is a party, it is because of the merger with McDonnell Douglas many years ago. The plane was manufactured in 1991 with a tail number of November 259 UP. The plane was traveling from Louisville, Kentucky to Honolulu, Hawaii. There were 3 souls on board the plane. After being cleared for takeoff, a large plume of fire in the area of the left wing occurred during the takeoff roll. The plane lifted off and gained enough altitude to clear the fence at the end of runway 17R. Shortly after clearing that fence, it made impact with structures and the terrain off of the airport property. A post-impact fire ensued, which covers approximately almost a half of a mile. Now, we have viewed airport CCTV security coverage, which shows the left engine detaching from the wing during the takeoff roll. This and other videos, along with evidence we are finding, are a very valuable asset to our investigators in helping us hone further which areas we were going to be focusing on as we move into further days of the investigation. Now, let me tell you a little bit about our process at the NTSB. What we will do is analyze the facts, determine the probable cause of this accident, and then issue a report on those recommendations. Now, the investigator in charge of this is with me here. It's Chi-Hoon Shin, who has been with the NTSB for 13 years. He is one of our more senior investigators, and in fact was leading one of the groups during the DCA crash. He has a number of other individuals with them. We have approximately 28 from our headquarters and other locations that are either on the ground or will be here before the end of the day. They're also being supported by dozens of individuals at our headquarters in Washington, D.C. and other field offices. As part of this investigation, we will be forming specific groups. And when we form a group, it will be a focus area led by an NTSB individual, along with subject matter experts that are in that field that can provide expertise to help analyze the evidence. Our current groups that are being formed are operations. They will review the history of the accident flight and the crew members' duties for as many days before the crash that appear relevant. Our structures group will document the airframe wreckage, the accident scene, including the calculation of the impact angles to help determine the plane's pre-impact course and altitude. We also have a power plants group. They will work on the examination of the engines and engine accessories. We have a systems group. They will study the components of the plane's hydraulic, electrical, pneumatic, and associated systems, together with the instruments and elements of the flight control system. Now, outside of that group, we have also brought in, and another group that we'll have will be maintenance, which will obviously be looking at maintenance records, any work that's been done on this plane for as long as back as needed. We are also bringing in specialists in air traffic control, human performance, aircraft performance, recorders, government relations, media relations. And in addition to our investigators, we have brought 5 of our transportation disaster assistance team. They will be dealing with the survivors, the families, and others under what we call a federally legislated accident from the 1996 Family Assistance Act. Now, tonight we will be holding an organizational meeting and establishing parties to our investigation. Because we're very new into it, we'll not be announcing the parties at this moment, but they will obviously be manufacturers of the aircraft, operators of the aircraft, unions representing some of the members. We'll have more details for on that probably tomorrow during a briefing. Now, the NTSB offers this party status to those companies, government agencies, and associations that have employees or activities or equipment involved in the accident.
All right, we're going to keep a close eye on this. Obviously, a terrible tragedy in Louisville, Kentucky, when that UPS cargo plane went down yesterday. And we'll keep an eye and an ear to this briefing. We'll let you know if there's any other news that's made. But I want to bring back in Marcus Lemonis. Thank you, Marcus, for staying with us. Yeah, it is a terrible tragedy and affected people on the ground as well. So we will keep people posted on that. With regard to what happened last night and your view of it as a business leader in America and someone who has experienced some of these frictions between a socialist culture and capitalism that we know and love.
That's right. So I grew up in Miami, as I mentioned earlier. And when I got out of college, I made the mistake of trying to run for office in South Florida. And my area was Little Havana, Miami Beach. And I ran as a Democrat. I was young, dumb, didn't know a lot. And I didn't realize that the folks that made up the bulk of the population of Miami were from Cuba. And those folks had seen and experienced communism, which is what I think we're going to potentially see here in New York, not socialism. And I lost in a very big way. And it was a great reminder to me that this country was built on the American dream, but hard work, not entitlement. Nobody's owed anything. I'm not owed anything. You're not owed anything. We have to work for it. I worry what New York needs to go through to understand what the folks that live in Miami that now know Cuba are going to experience. I worry about that.
You know, we heard Zohran Mamdani last night sort of detailing some of what he plans to put in effect. Watch this.
Agenda that will freeze the rents for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants. Make buses fast and free. And deliver universal childcare across our city.
So, a rundown of all the free stuff.
Lots
the
of
free
free
buses, the rent stabilization.
No
rent
revenue
freezing,
source.
And yes, and delivering universal childcare, which is a $6 billion proposition. Oh, the revenue source is 2% on the $1 million plus income group, and even more than that on corporate tax.
We have to have a tax base to actually receive the revenue. And so we've already seen a mass exodus into Florida, into Texas, into 7 other states with no state income tax. What I think he has not calculated properly is that idea of taxing everybody requires there to be people, to be commerce, to have visitors. I don't believe that people from around the country in short term are going to want to visit. Here's what gives me comfort. Capitalism and a free market always wins in the end. And so while it feels a bit of doom and gloom today, I can tell you right now, sitting in my seat from Fox Business, I'm very encouraged about what the prospects are going to be for our country, particularly with what President Trump is doing.
Yeah, market's up 318 points today, which is...
Some of that's the Supreme Court.
Yes, indeed. All right. Thank you very much, Marcus. Thanks for hanging with us. And it's always good to see you. Thanks for being here. So coming up, a story exclusive with She Van Vliet, a survivor of Mao's Cultural Revolution who understands the dynamics firsthand. She says that radical liberals and an army of useful idiots will run New York City into the ground. She will explain next.
We have a choice between communism and common sense. Does that make sense to you? Common sense. It's common sense or communism.
I had this red dot on my nose that had been there for a while, and it turns out it was skin cancer.
The word cancer is scary, no matter where it is.
I was told that surgery was the only option, and I did not want to get cut open on my face.
I started doing my own search and found Gentle Cure. It changed my life.
If you, like millions of others, are affected by non-melanoma skin cancer, surgery is not the only option. People everywhere are discovering Gentle Cure. Gentle Cure uses low-energy X-rays to kill cancer cells with a 99% cure rate. Plus, there's no cutting, no surgical scarring, and no downtime.
Gentle Cure was literally an answer to my prayers.
To learn more, call today or go to gentlecure.com.
Silver is the precious metal of the future. Judge Napolitano here. Since 2020, the silver price has risen as much as 190%. Why? In each of the last 4 years, rising demand for solar and electric vehicles alone has put silver supply into a deficit. But now there's another industry. AI, data centers, robots, and quantum computing could require so much silver that silver supplies could be obliterated.
Could silver rise another 190% within 5 years? Find out in this new report, The AI Revolution.
I bought silver and my investment is up 85%. With billions being poured into AI, it makes sense to consider silver.
Call Lear Capital to get your free report, The AI Revolution, and see why it could bring record high silver. And with a qualified purchase, get up to $20,000 in bonus silver. Call 800-654-1010. 800-654-1010. 800-654-1010.
If you're a veteran, you know what it means to be part of a team, to accomplish the mission together. That same spirit drives New Day USA, a company built by veterans for veterans. We know that after serving, nothing matters more than a place to call home. That's why our mission is to help 1 million veteran families buy homes of their own. So we created New Day Home. With New Day Home, you won't need to come up with a single dollar for a down payment, not a single dollar for closing costs, not a single dollar period. You'll have an Admiral certified agent to help you find your dream home. Working with our VA loan experts who do all the paperwork for you and get you approved fast. Call New Day for your Admiral certified agent and VA loan approval in minutes. 1-833-817-3897.
For the perfect present, the perfect place is your local Ace. This Christmas, get free assembly and delivery on your new grill at Ace. Around the block, what you need in stock, with service so good it's guaranteed.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Soon we'll be telling the whole stadium how Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance to save people hundreds. Whoa. I'll go get us tickets. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani getting ready to take over Gracie Mansion and City Hall in the Big Apple, America's largest city, and he will start that job on January 1. As a poll shows, lots of support for socialism among Democrats across the country. 66% of Democrats say they have a positive view of socialism compared to 42% who feel that way about capitalism, according to Gallup. With that, we bring in anti-communist activist Xi Van Fleet, a survivor of China's Cultural Revolution, sent to work in the countryside when she was 16 years old. After Mao died, she went to college to learn English and has lived in the United States since 1986. Xi, thank you very much. It's great to see you again. And we all remember your very strong statements as the statues were being pulled down in this country in 2021 about what you recognized and what you saw that looked very much like communist China. What's your reaction to this election in New York?
Yeah, what I have to say is 39 years ago, I escaped communism to come to America for freedom. And 30 years later, I see communists defeated capitalism. And it is just absolutely unbelievable that the New Yorkers choose a socialist and a communist to be their mayor. And this is something that people like me just have a hard time believing. Because while they're cheering for the new mayor who promised them everything free, in 1949, hundreds of millions of Chinese poor peasants cheered the CCP when they took over China. And also my parents, as part of the useful idiots, abandoned their well-to-do family and joined the revolution, believing the change and the hope that China will be a better country. Only 9 years later, they found out that the liberation they were hoping for turned out to be serfdom. 40 to 50 million Chinese starved to death. And China was really become a place that there's just not only no freedom, and there is absolutely, I call it slavery. And this is something that so many Americans do not know. Their children today, they don't know the second part of the movie. I was in the second part of the movie. That is not going to end well. I try to warn them, and people like me try to warn them. Socialism is evil. Socialism will bring disaster and misery to everyone, but they're determined to find out themselves. So we'll see.
So I want to play a soundbite from last night, here is Zohran Mamdani shortly after he was elected, citing Eugene Debs and Nehru in his speech. Watch.
The sun may have set over our city this evening, but as Eugene Debs once said, I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity. Standing before you, I think of the words of Jawaharlal Nehru. A moment comes but rarely in history when we step out from the old to the new, when an age ends and when the soul of a nation long suppressed finds utterance.
It was particularly young people who drove this election. What would you say to them? Because they're likely to listen to you, and say, oh, well, it's not like that. This isn't like communist China. We're just going to have free buses and free childcare. Those are good things, they would say.
Yes, absolutely. I would say that indoctrination has consequences. We see the consequences today. We have lost the control of our educational system and the media. And for decades, people were taught that communism was a good thing. And it's not good because it did not try correctly. And they believe that they will be the one to make communism work. It will never work because communism depends on big government. It depends on a few people make decisions for the rest of the country. And communism will only bring equity to everyone, which is poverty and misery. And I hope more and more people realize that and stop the spread of communism in America.
Poverty and misery is not what we have been hearing about. It was all about hope and a brighter future. Thank you very much. Good to have you with us today. Thanks for joining us, Van Fleet.
Thank you so much. Bye.
So now, once a vocal critic of the New York City Police Department, Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani says instead of boosting officer headcount, he will create a Department of Community Safety that will respond to incidents of mental illness. With that, we bring in retired NYPD police chief John Schell, who oversaw all of the police officers in the city of New York for many, many years. You retired about a month ago, John. I know you saw this. You said that this might be where the city was headed. It was not something that you wanted to sign up for. What do you say now?
Well, congratulations to him, first of all. You ran a good campaign. Now he's going to be the mayor. So now let's just look at the track record. Look at the rhetoric, what he says about the police department. Look at who he's aligned with, the DSA. No cops, no one in prison. Look at what he wants to do legally. He wants to not enforce low-level laws. He says he doesn't want to do the way of prostitution, but he wants to criminalize it. This is a recipe for disaster for the city and public safety. It doesn't align with what we're doing. And now, when you take his stance on the Civilian Complaint Review Board, the board that oversees punishment for complaints from cops, right, and you want to give that adjudication to them, cops are not going to stay. These investigators in CCRB, they hate the police department. They're young kids with purple hair. They're going to try to adjudicate penalties against our police officers. There's 4,000 that could leave in January. They are not going to stand for this. And I don't know. We came back once from bail reform. We fought so hard to get here today. I don't know if we can come back a second time. But it remains to be seen. I would like to think he's going to come a little more center with his public safety narrative. but it remains to be seen. But I'm a little troubled by what I'm hearing, to be honest
So
with
you're
you.
saying it's likely that 4,000 police officers will leave the force in January. What will that leave us with? How many?
That'll leave us about 30,000, not sustainable in a city that doesn't sleep, of 8.5 million people, with everything that's demanded upon us. And our calls for service, 911 calls, 311 calls are up. Our staffing is down. Now, he also says, first of all, it's a false narrative when he says we're spending too much time on 911 calls for mostly starved people. There's 5.5 million calls for service last year in the city. About 170,000 was that. That's 3%. That's a false narrative. I can appreciate what he's trying to do, taking some work off our plate, the cops' plate, but he says he's going to maintain staffing. What does that mean? If we go to 30,000, he's going to stay there. He doesn't want to hire more police officers.
Right. So I just want to make that clear. So 4,000 leave in January, and he told me right here that he will not replace them. He said, current staffing levels. So
you have to listen to the rhetoric.
That is fewer police.
You have to listen to the rhetoric. He wants to sustain the number. Well, what is that number? Are 4,000 going to leave in January? They can. They have over 20 years of service. Let's cut it in half. Let's say 2,000 leave. We need about 40,000. We can't go down to 32 with all demands that are placed on us. What is going to happen in public safety in this city? What does low-level crimes mean? What are those? He doesn't want to do away with misdemeanors, but a lot of misdemeanors are low-level crimes. And he based on, well, if a person's need. So if a person wants to steal from a store where they're in need, this is not going to work.
Obviously, our former mayor, who ended up dropping out of the race, had 25 years experience as a police captain in New York City. So I guess one bright spot in terms of the police is that Tish is going to stay. She's the police commissioner. What is your outlook for that? Do you think they'll work together well? Will she be able to maintain the relationship or build a relationship?
Look, I know her well. I sat next to her every day for 10 months. And her ideology and mentality for public safety is in direct contrast to his. Where does that meet in the middle? Remains to be seen. But that's a tough one for her because she has to maintain her posture as a public safety crime fighter, but now maybe adapt to a socialistic way of policing. That's a hard mix. It's going to be interesting to watch it play out. If, in fact, he does keep it. Now, he said today he was, so we'll take him on his word. But that's an interesting parallel for 2026.
That's an area to keep a very close eye on because she has a very high profile in New York. She has been very committed to tough policing and to protecting her folks out there. So.
But watch this conversation. Imagine CCLB, a commissioner, I want you to fire Officer Shell. Yeah. I don't want to. I don't think that. Going to be a problem.
We'll see where it goes. Thank you, Chief. Good to see you. Thanks for your service to the city. All right, coming up, we have Ben Shapiro on set on the emboldened far left flank of the Democrat Party. Next.
Zohran Mamdani is without a doubt the biggest win for socialism in the history of the country, and it is the biggest loss for the American people. He is truly a committed Marxist. And the results of that race tell you everything you need to know about where the Democrats and their party are headed. From the backbench to their leadership.
It's the final game, folks. This one wins the series.
If it's important, it's not worth compromising, which is why with farmers, you don't have to compromise quality to get great savings on your insurance. Here, take mine.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
This November, Renewal by Andersen wants to give you a huge win. You can have our award-winning windows and doors right now, and you don't have to pay us a dime for 2 years. You can try to pay us during the first 2 years, but we don't want it. Really, we don't want it. Save it, spend it, go buy a pony, whatever you want to do. And of all the things you can do for your home, going with us is one of the best decisions you can make. Why? Because choosing Renewal by Andersen to replace your windows and doors makes your home worth more. 3 out of 4 realtors surveyed agree that Andersen products increase a home's value by at least 10%. Do the math. I think you're going to be happy. And when you're ready to sell your home, it's possible that your new windows and doors could help pay for themselves by increasing the value of your home. Here at Renewal by Andersen, we value homegrown talent. Your local design consultants, measure technicians, certified master installers, and customer service team are all going to give you the best home improvement experience you've ever had. We'd love to introduce you to our brand new exclusive ensemble entry door systems. These are premium, custom-built entry doors that were designed for beauty and security. You're not going to find this door at a big box store. Oh yeah, and one more thing. No other window company is going to do the whole project, soup to nuts, with the nation's best warranty. And you don't pay us a dime until November of 2027, but only if you book your appointment by December 1st. Call 1-800-704-4200.
What kind of gift can $39 get you these days? It could send someone to their ancestral village and give them a taste of their heritage, from mom's side and dad's side. That's a big gift for a small price.
The smart investor makes money but never loses money. Well, how do they do that? I mean, how do you grow your retirement money without market risk? Actually, it's no big secret. There are products designed specifically to provide stock market growth with downside protection, meaning you don't lose money when the market goes down. You can have that for your retirement accounts. If you have at least $500,000 to invest, call and get your video investor's guide and see if we are right for you.
The recipe for a long, healthy life? It starts with gently cooking our food to give your dog the nutrients they need without the ultra-processing. Get 50% off your first box only at thefarmersdog.com.
You can get this fixed now and pay later. You can get this fixed now and pay later. And this. Get it fixed now and pay later in 4 interest-free payments at safelight.com.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
So live look on Capitol Hill right now, where Secretary of State Marco Rubio is briefing the bipartisan Gang of 12 about the Trump administration's campaign against narco-terrorists. Lawmakers have been demanding more transparency from the administration since these strikes began in September. Just yesterday, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announcing 2 more alleged narco-terrorists were killed in the Eastern Pacific, and that marked the 16th strike in this offensive. AOC and Senator Bernie Sanders summing up the Democrat divide heading into next year's midterm elections. Watch this.
The Democratic Party cannot last much longer by denying the future, by trying to undercut our young, by trying to undercut a next generation of diverse and upcoming Democrats.
Of course, there's a division within the Democratic Party. There's no secret to anybody here. You're going to see progressives running, protecting the needs of the working on big money interests.
Ben Shapiro is here, host of the Ben Shapiro Show. Ben, great to have you on set. Good to see you.
For having me. I appreciate
great to see you. You know, what's your overall takeaway as you look at this, and particularly with a view to what we have seen as anti-Semitism and the anti-Semitic problem in New York City?
I mean, I think that many of the things that people are seeing as sort of a bug of the Mamdani campaign, how could he be elected while saying all these anti-Semitic things? That's a feature. The progressive left, the wild progressive left that was tapped in the primaries and then spurred him to victory in the general. That progressive left is very, very fond of anti-Semitism. They're totally fine with not only anti-Israel feeling, but obviously with a candidate for mayor who said to you on the show that he obviously doesn't really care whether Hamas disarms. Like that was something that he didn't mind talking about, which is kind of an incredible thing.
You know, when you break this vote down, not just in New York City and Virginia and New Jersey as well, we see this young vote, massive young vote, supporting Democrats. And when we came out of 2024, the message was really that there was this resurgence of sort of young conservatives out there. So what's going on?
So I think what the polling is showing is that young people in particular are just unsettled. And what that means is that if they don't get what they want from one party, then they're going to swivel and they will turn and they will vote for the other party. So Joe Biden was very unpopular. The inflation had really eaten away at people's livelihoods. And so people turned in favor of President Trump. I think that there are some warning signs here for young voters for 2026, even 2028, depending on the performance of the Trump administration. But one of the things that you're seeing with Mamdani, one of the things that you're seeing with I think a lot of politicians these days is if you just say the problem but don't offer a solution, that might be enough. If you just say affordability, 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 and then your solutions are absolutely ridiculous, like tried and true failures, people don't care about the solutions. They just care that you empathize with the problem. The problem is that if you never solve it, then you are going to continue to see this kind of pendulum swing for young people from right to left and then back to right and then back to left.
It's like a generation of people, this is a big generalization, but who want to hear that they're seen.
Yes, yes. And also who have been told.
As long as you feel seen, it's okay.
I think that's right. And I think they've been also told by their politicians, only I can solve the problem. So I see your problem, and it's not solvable by you. It's only solvable by me. And then inevitably, it's not solvable by politicians. And then people get dissatisfied. So they turn to, the other politician. And, I'm sort of waiting for more candidates to arise who say, actually, most of the problems in your own life are solvable by you, actually. And you should take more actions in your own life to make it better.
I'm curious what you think about Mamdani and his rhetoric and the speech last night, which the beginning of it was a lot of thank yous and hope for the future. And then all of a sudden it kind of took this pretty dramatic turn. And that did not go unnoticed by Van Jones. Watch.
The Mamdani that we saw on the campaign trail, who was a lot more calm, who was a lot warmer, who was a lot more embracing, was not present in that speech. His tone was sharp. I think he was using the microphone in a way that he was almost yelling. And that's not the Mamdani that we've seen on TikTok and the great interviews and stuff like that. So I felt like there's a little bit of a character switch here.
Sharp, and that he noted kind of a bit of a character switch. What do you think happened now that Mamdani is relieved from the burden of the campaign?
I think that he is saying all the quiet parts out loud now. I mean, he was largely through the campaign, but you could kind of gloss it with the smarmy smile and all of that. But now he's just saying everything out loud. I mean, the line in that speech where he said that government should be involved in literally every problem in your life and care about even the smallest things is full-scale frightening to anybody who has any historical knowledge of how government has interacted with citizens historically. And when he went through, and the only people he was citing as authorities were Eugene V. Debs, an actual socialist, and Nehru, another actual socialist from India, and on a non-aligned party during the Cold War. I mean, it really does speak to what Mamdani wants to do. He said he's a Muslim and a socialist, and he's going to brag about those things. He's not going to be shy about those things. I mean, listen, we all know that he's a Muslim. We all know that he's a socialist. But the fact that he is proclaiming that capitalism is the problem in the financial center of planet Earth does not bode particularly well for the future of the city.
You like to debate people who you have some disagreements with. Are you going to offer to sit down with him and have a discussion?
I'd be more than happy to ask him some difficult questions, but you did a great job at that yourself. So,
well, thank you, Ben. I would look forward to seeing your version as well. It's always good to see you, Ben Shapiro. Good to have you with us today. Thank you very much. So here's a live look at Auburn, Alabama right now. Young conservatives are lining up for another huge Turning Point event, which is this evening ahead of Erica Kirk's sit down with Fox. The intimate discussion and detail that she had with Jesse Waters about her final moments with her husband. That and more next.
The 2025 Fox Nation Patriot Awards, they are back in New York. It is my great honor to host the only award show that matters.
Witness inspiring stories and celebrate America's unsung heroes with a special performance from Jason Aldean. And for the first time, the new Charlie Kirk Legacy Award will be awarded to Erica Kirk. Plus, First Lady Melania Trump will join the show as our Patriot of the Year.
2025 Patriot Awards are tomorrow, only on Fox Nation, where America's streaming.
America has the greatest economy in the world, but most of us can agree that we have a problem. The cost of almost everything is up. Home prices, rent, food, insurance, especially vehicles. That's why more Americans are keeping their cars longer, including me. And one way that we can make life more affordable is CarShield, America's #1 auto protection company.
CarShield's rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau and named America's most trusted auto protection company.
With CarShield, drivers could save thousands on covered parts and systems like your engine, transmission, entertainment system, and more. It's the protection I trust, just like these happy other customers.
With CarShield, saving the $2,700 has been a real blessing. I love CarShield. It is my lifeline.
Our life as nurses, we just step up and we help people, and it's really nice when somebody steps up and helped us. If our car breaks down, CarShield administrators have our back.
If your car's out of warranty, it's not a matter of if it'll break down, but when. Call CarShield before it's too late and protect yourself from expensive car repairs.
Plans protect you nationwide with thousands of vetted shops to choose from, or CarShield's concierge service to help find a mechanic near you. Unlike other companies, you're not sent to the cheapest place in town. That's why I trust CarShield, and so should you.
I have filed a total of over 5 claims, and my price from when I signed up never went up. And with the age of my car, that is security.
Based in St. Louis, CarShield supports hardworking Americans and helps save over $1 billion in expensive auto repairs. All you have to do is give CarShield a call before a breakdown happens. Call now.
Call CarShield now before a breakdown and see how they're saving drivers money on covered auto repairs. Call for your free quote and their price lock guarantee. Call 800-842-2995. 800-842-2995. 800-842-2995.
Love saving money? Then it's time to join AARP. Get your first full year for just $15 with automatic renewal and get a second membership free.
That's a great deal.
You'll have access to hundreds of benefits to help you save money, stay healthy, and have fun. Plus everyday discounts at top retailers, dining, and more. Your first year is just $15 with automatic renewal and get a second membership and an insulated trunk organizer for free.
Call 800-745-9538 or go online today. Reflecting, rebuilding, and always remembering.
You don't ever want to stop talking about the people that you love.
Erica Kirk speaks up to Jesse Waters in a powerful sit-down tonight on Fox News Channel.
Florida Leather Gallery announces our final sale of the year. Hurry in to save up to 60% off genuine leather sofas, sectionals, love seats, and recliners. Now's your chance to shop all the famous brands you love, like Natuzzi Editions, Encanto, Palliser, and more. Our Lexperts are standing by to help you find the perfect options for your lifestyle. Don't miss this opportunity to take home the world's most luxurious leather seating. Going on now, but only for a limited time. Florida Leather Gallery. Your vision, your way.
The Rooms to Go Veterans Day sale is going on now. So save big on the furniture you want. Shop today and find your perfect room package. With living rooms on sale, bedrooms on sale, and dining rooms on sale now. And to make buying easier, get 55-month interest-free financing. That's right. At Rooms to Go, you get both amazing sale prices and interest-free financing for 55 months. Don't wait. Shop the Rooms to Go Veterans Day sale going on now.
A hero has emerged in Naples. Introducing Captain Nissan, fighting to get every beat-up old clunker in Southwest Florida off the road. Trade in that rusty relic at Naples Nissan and get a minimum of $6,000. Any model, any condition, regardless of age and mileage. Own a brand new Nissan for just $15,995. Get 0% financing for 60 months. Plus, our exclusive unlimited mile lifetime warranty. Have no fear. Captain Nissan is here.
Young voters in New York City voting overwhelmingly for Mamdani's campaign of handouts, while in other parts of the country, young conservatives are fired up and energized around the values of faith and family and freedom that were preached and taught by Charlie Kirk through Turning Point USA. His wife, Erica, sitting down for a must-see interview with Jesse Waters, and that will happen tonight at 8 o'clock. Here is a preview.
You wanted to see Charlie immediately and came up. Take us through that.
We walked into that room. He had this smirk on his face. That smirk to me is that look of, you thought you could stop what I've built? You thought that you could end this vision, this movement, this revival. You thought you could do that by murdering me. You got my body. You didn't get my soul.
Correspondent Madison Scarpino live in Auburn, Alabama, where members of the Trump family are among those who are headlining this huge event tonight. Hi, Madison.
Hi, Martha, from the beautiful Auburn University. And the event doesn't start for a few hours, but we've already got a significant crowd out here waiting to get in. They're going to hear from the president's son, Eric Trump, his wife, Laura, and some other guest speakers as well. And all of the students we've been talking to say that they really just want to carry on Charlie Kirk's legacy. And that includes Auburn student Adrian. He's here with me right now. He is a TPUSA student volunteer. So what does Charlie Kirk mean to you? Why did you want to be out here today?
Well, there's three main things. The first and most important is my faith. I was raised up in a really non-religious household where faith wasn't really something that was seen as important. But about 2 months ago when Charlie Kirk died, and then after his funeral, I just started going back, watching a lot of stuff he said about faith, reading the Bible, and I've since given my life to Christ, and I credit that to Charlie. And then the second would be that he gave students like me a voice. Before, in like a cancel culture type world where people were shunned for being conservative, especially on campus, Charlie provided a voice for students like me and said, no, we don't all have to be liberal. It's okay to be conservative on campus and express what you believe. And then the last one would be, I feel like he's one of the most responsible people for Trump getting reelected as president. And the previous administration just did so much damage to our country, and it was so hard to watch. And so I'm so glad we have Trump back now, and I directly credit Charlie Kirk for that as well.
Talk about the energy on campus right now and maybe what you're looking forward to the most tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the energy's great since the whole week. Well, for the last 2 weeks, really, Turning Point has been out tabling out on the concourse here. And obviously we have all these people lined up right now. Social media is going great. So there's so much energy for it. And I'm just super excited to hear from all the speakers.
Thank you so much, Adrian. I hope you have fun tonight. Again, the event is set to kick off in just a few hours, and we're expecting a pretty big crowd, Martha.
All right, Madison, thank you very much. We'll look forward to that. Day on a very important case for the White House that deals with President Trump's tariffs and his executive ability to carry them out. Today, even some of the conservative justices were asking some pretty tough questions. Fox News Sunday anchor, I should say, and chief legal correspondent Shannon Bream, whom I had the pleasure of sitting next to last night, she zipped it overnight back to the Supreme Court to be there for us this morning. Hi, Shannon.
Hey, Martha. Well, listen, the president has said this may be the biggest case ever at the Supreme Court, and there were certainly some Washington heavy hitters in the courtroom today, Secretaries Bessent and Letnick, and there were Democrats and Republicans from the House and the Senate all watching, and it boiled down to this question: do these tariffs the president has levied equate to taxes? And if so, doesn't the taxing power rest solely with Congress? There were 3 hours of heated arguments, very tough questions for both sides of the aisle, and as you said, nearly every justice expressed skepticism at some point about how the president has used these emergency powers. Justices Kavanaugh and Barrett kept returning to this question. If the plaintiffs in this case concede that the president does have the power to shut down trade altogether, why wouldn't he also have the power to do something lesser than that in imposing these tariffs? Here's Justice Kavanaugh.
Why would a rational Congress say, yeah, we're going to give the president the power to shut down trade? I mean, think about the effects, but you're admitting that power's in there. Yeah. But can't do a 1% tariff.
But Justice Jackson argued that Congress's intent in passing this law was more about limiting the president, not giving him even more power. Here's her take.
Congress enacted this legislation with the intent of preventing the president from having unlimited powers in this area. And you're asking us to now interpret that statute consistent with an understanding that Congress wanted to allow the president to do pretty much whatever he wanted in this area.
And Martha, by the way, there was a discussion that came up from Justice Barrett saying, undoing this kind of thing could be sort of tricky. She said, potentially a very big mess. We wait to see what the court does, Martha.
Shannon, thank you very much. More to come on that later. And coming up, a story exclusive with President Trump's ambassador to the Holy See, Brian Birch, about the persecution of Christians in Nigeria when we return.
Talk to me about the quality of life and just how a stair lift can change that.
Things that they enjoy every day, hobbies, things that they've shared with loved ones. We had a story of a lady, she would watch the sunset with her husband. She lost access to that area of the house for several years. Giving her the opportunity to do that was amazing.
When you buy from Acorn Stair Lifts, you're not only receiving the gold standard in manufacturing, you're buying from the most trusted name in the industry. Acorn Club monitors your stair lift activity, providing you and your family with peace of mind.
I really get a sense for just how slimline this is. Look at all the space that I have here.
Acorn stays with you for the life of the stair lift with our comprehensive service and maintenance support.
For you at home, are you ready for your peace of mind? Liberate yourself. Get yourself an Acorn Stair Lift today.
Call Acorn Stair Lifts at 800-316-1185.
Have you compared your Medicare plan recently? With eHealth, you can compare Medicare plans side by side for free. So we invited people to give eHealth a try and discover how easy it can be to find your Medicare match.
This is pretty amazing. I can go on a vacation with this money.
I have quite a few prescriptions.
That's why people call us. We're going to compare plans, and I'm going to try to get you as much bang for your buck as possible.
That's great.
This one here covers all your prescriptions, your doctors as well.
Oh, wonderful.
I have a hard time with this.
That's okay. That's what I'm here for. Based on our conversation today, I would highly recommend this plan.
You're so helpful. You don't know.
I'm excited for you, sir. Again, my name is Cham. If you have any other questions, give me a ring.
Thank you very much. Oh my God, that was super easy.
See how your Medicare plan stacks up with the big changes for 2026. Just call this number or get started at ehealth.com. Compare plans that cover your doctors, prescriptions, pharmacy, and budget. And compare plans from the nation's top insurance companies. They pay us to help you. How much do you think you'll be able to save using eHealth?
At least $300 a month.
Would you say you found your Medicare match?
Yes, I did. What Sam did, she explained to me exactly what I need to know.
Well, I have a surprise for you. Cham, come on out.
Oh my goodness.
It's a pleasure to meet you today, sir. What does it feel like to be face to face?
You helped me out quite a bit.
Call to meet your advisor. They're paid the same no matter which Medicare Advantage plan you choose. Ask them about eHealth Live Advice or get started on your own at eHealth.com. Either way, it's always a free service. See if you could get more for less with eHealth, like these folks did.
The savings are unbelievable.
I could see the costs side by side. eHealth is wonderful. $1,200 savings in my pocket. I was really pleasantly surprised with that.
Call 1-800-715-3163 to compare Medicare plans in your area or visit eHealth.com.
eHealth, your Medicare matchmaker.
Before starting Seeds DSO1, I would have frequent uncomfortable visits to the bathroom. Almost like a sour feeling and a bloated feeling. It was really affecting my life. After taking DSO1, I would feel consistent throughout every day. It was nice to wake up, feel regular, and then go about my day and not have any other bathroom visits. DSO1 is definitely going to be a part of my long-term health journey.
Visit Seed.com to start DSO1 today.
I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Your car steering wheel could be a ticking time bomb. At least 24 people have died and many more injured because their airbags fired shrapnel at them upon inflating. Tens of millions of cars have been recalled. If you suffered cuts that required stitches, hearing or vision loss, or broken bones, or if a loved one was killed in a crash involving a deployed airbag, please contact us today.
Call 800-756-90. Call now.
President Trump fighting against religious persecution around the world, ordering the Department of War to prepare for potential military action on the ground in Nigeria and threatening to cut off aid to the African country if they don't do more to protect Christians from jihadists, as the State Department redesignates Nigeria as a, quote, country of particular concern. This designation was removed in the Biden administration. Watch.
If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the United States will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may take action to wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities, especially against innocent women and children. I don't have any further announcements on that for you today, but I can assure you the President of the United States is watching this situation unfold very closely, as is our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio.
So more than 7,000 Christians have been killed this year. 19,000 churches have been targeted or destroyed since '09, and over 125,000 Christians have been killed in the same period, according to the International Society for Civil Liberties and the Rule of Law, who keep track of these killings, even though they so largely go under the radar of news coverage. Here now exclusively today, President Trump's ambassador to the Holy See, Brian Birch. Ambassador Birch, welcome. It's good to have you with us from Rome. Thank you very much for joining me. You know, most people are not aware of this. I think the awareness is growing in recent days and months over this with President Trump's recognition of it. What do you say to the Biden administration or to those who say, you know, this isn't what's happening? It's really a dispute over land in Nigeria. It's not religiously based.
Well, thank you, Martha. You're absolutely right. This has gone under the radar for too long. And thanks to our president, he's brought attention to this issue. As the president has said, Christians are facing an existential crisis in Nigeria. They're literally being slaughtered by the thousands, sometimes hundreds per day. And this is being done by radical Islamic extremists, and they are responsible for this slaughter. And thanks to the president, he has stepped up. He has said he is ready and willing to act. The United States will not stand by and watch the slaughter of thousands of Christians in this country. And the Nigerian government has a responsibility to protect its citizens. And thanks to the United States, we recognize that religious freedom is a cornerstone of human dignity, and this is a foundational element of our foreign policy.
All right, so that brings me to my next question, because we give a lot of aid to Nigeria, $550 million in U.S. aid in 2025. And then there's another possible approval of $346 million in weapons going to Nigeria. So is this money, this aid, contingent on any country that it goes to upholding basic American values or risking losing that money?
Well, you're right. This is exactly why this designation is so important and why the president made this decision, is that because they have now been designated a country of particular concern, foreign assistance, weapons, all sorts of support, sanctions, everything is on the table, including military action, as the president has said. But this is not an effort to try to isolate or threaten the Nigerian regime. This is an effort to call them to their responsibility that they have to their citizens, to protect people of faith, to protect religious minorities. This includes Muslims, by the way. There are peaceful Muslims in this country as well. But these Islamic extremists are weaponizing religion to justify terror, and it needs to stop right now.
So what is Pope Leo's take on this with regard to President Trump saying that he would consider military action against these groups that are killing Christians?
Well, the Pope spoke out this summer, specifically when there was a large massacre where several hundred were killed in a single day. He called for prayers. He prayed for them. And when the Pope speaks, as you know, the world listens. And that compassion means something. I think the Vatican has sought to kind of reduce tensions here to try to turn down the temperature. They have pointed out that this has multiple causes. There's economic, there's fights over land, there's corruption. But there is no mistaking that Christians are being targeted because of their beliefs. And the Vatican cares deeply about religious freedom as well. There's not a meeting that I am in where the question of religious freedom is not raised here in Rome, whether it's in the Middle East, whether it's in Europe, Central, South America. This is a very significant issue for the Vatican and the United States.
Well, you have a very interesting position as ambassador to the Holy See and the first American Pope in Rome. So we hope to hear a lot more from you. Ambassador Birch, thank you for joining us today.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
So back now to the story that was breaking and is breaking this hour. The NTSB says it has recovered the flight data and cockpit voice recorders from the deadly fiery crash yesterday of a UPS cargo plane that killed at least 9 people. Correspondent Garrett Tenney reporting live from Louisville. Hi, Garrett.
Yeah, and Martha, the NTSB also says that it has viewed surveillance footage from the airport showing that the engine on the left wing of the aircraft fell off of the plane right after takeoff. You can actually see in this video as this UPS cargo jet was going down the runway that the engine on the left side of the aircraft was on fire. Now, flight data indicates that that craft barely got off the ground, going up just 175 feet before it crashed back down and slammed into and through multiple buildings as it exploded with more than 38,000 gallons of jet fuel in its tank.
I don't know how many victims we're actually looking for. That's one of the issues. And the debris zone is so large. So trying to get people back there. And with the debris zone, some of that debris is going to have to be moved and searched underneath. So it will take us quite a while.
And that debris field is about half a mile wide. More than 50 fire trucks were here overnight with more than 200 firefighters battling this massive blaze that left behind all kind of debris that first responders are now searching through. They have located so far the bodies of 9 victims from the crash site, including the 3 crew members who were on board. 11 others are injured. 16 people are still missing. Martha?
Garrett, thank you very much. Obviously, a very tragic situation playing out for those who were working on that UPS cargo flight and others on the ground. Garrett, thank you very much. So that is the story of this Wednesday, November 5th. It was a year ago today that President Trump was celebrating his election win. And tonight, he sits down with Bret Baier, or you'll be able to see it tonight on Special Report at 6 p.m. Here is a sneak preview of tonight's interview. Watch.
Is there a deal that can be made to end this government shutdown in your mind?
Well, I think the Democrats have become radicalized. I think, this never happened before. They always extend. An extension is very easy. It's done all the time. You extend, sometimes you extend 4 or 5 times. I mean, they become radicalized lunatics, actually, in a true sense. They should automatically extend, and we will make a deal as soon as they do. As soon as they do, we'll make a deal.
More to come on that tonight, and we will see you back here tomorrow. The Will Cain Show gets underway right about now. Have a great evening, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good afternoon and live from New York City, this is The Will Cain Show. Any moment now, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy will be announcing major aviation safety actions as the government shutdown continues to disrupt air travel. We also expect an update on that horrific Louisville UPS plane crash. We're going to bring you there live once it begins. But first, we start with 2 milestones. Today marks the 1-year anniversary of President Trump's historic re-election. He marked it with his notable Trump dance. It also officially marks the government shutdown, the longest government shutdown in American history. How is our capital city marking the former? Well, it's protesters turning out today for an anti-Trump rally outside the Supreme Court, dressed up, of course, in costumes, of course, from The Handmaid's Tale, and for some odd reason, of course, with an inflatable frog costume. It's all to make the point about fascism. And even with all that noise outside, inside the halls of the Capitol are quiet as the standoff over funding the government drags on. To a record-breaking day 36. Is there any hope for a breakthrough? We did see a little bit of movement today. Democrat leaders Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries propositioning President Trump, writing, "Dear President Trump, we write to demand a bipartisan meeting of legislative leaders to end the GOP shutdown of the federal government and decisively address the Republican health care crisis." Democrats stand ready to meet with you face to face, anytime, in any place. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Cute. Not so cute. The answer to the question of why now. Maybe it's that they're feeling pressure from their colleague Bernie Sanders, who may have said the quiet part out loud from Chuck Schumer's podium.
Of course there's an establishment, and of course there's a division within the Democratic Party. There's no secret to anybody here. What are we seeing in Maine? What did you see in New York City? What are you going to see all over this country? You're going to see progressives running, protecting the needs of the working class, taking on big money interests, fighting for an agenda that works for all, not just the few. No great secret there.
Maybe it's because, as the Babylon Bee jokes, they're embarrassed they can't remember why the shutdown of the government started in the first place, whatever the reason. Their demand might be futile after President Trump told them last time that he'll meet them once they reopen the government. And today it did not sound like he changed his mind.
Virtually every Democrat in Congress has voted to hold the American people hostage in an effort to extort hundreds of billions of dollars in new spending. The radical left Democrats are causing millions of Americans who depend on food stamps to go without benefits. They're forcing federal workers to go without paychecks, and they're stranding thousands of travelers at the airports. And you understand it, and they understand it. All because they want to return to the failed Biden policies that created.
My next guest signaling today that he is open to Trump's pitch to kill the filibuster. It's Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley who joins me now. Senator, great to see you. Let's return to the filibuster in just one moment. The not so cute answer as to why there's an overture to reopen the government seems to be, or it looks like it very possibly or probably could be, because the elections are over from last night. And that would say something horrible about Democrats shutting down the government to leverage a win in elections.
Yeah, how about the fact that 42 million people now, Will, are going hungry? These are needy Americans who are not getting federal food assistance. That includes millions of children. Why? So that the Democrats can go out and boost their poll numbers? I mean, so the Democrats can boost turnout in these blue states in these elections? It's terrible, but you're right. They're saying the quiet part out loud. And here's the thing. It is time for this to end. I mean, the Democrats are holding the American people hostage. What's it going to take? Planes falling out of the sky? Already you've got people who aren't eating. Is it going to take the military not getting paid? Federal workers can't make rent. I mean, you've got our federal law enforcement going unpaid. This is absurd. The human suffering is real. And the Democrats, they don't seem to care, but the president cares. He said again today, this morning to senators, he wants the government open. It's time to get there.
Senator, we've already seen one plane fall out of the sky, and we're expecting to hear from the Transportation Secretary within moments about what's going to happen with our airspace amidst this government shutdown. But I want to take you up on this part of the conversation about needy Americans. 42 million people are on SNAP. In your home state of Missouri, that's 11% of the population, just under 700,000 Missourians on food welfare. And there is no doubt, Senator, there are people, needy people in this country that need help from the government. But this is a personal issue for me over the last couple of days on this show. Is it really 42 million Americans? Is it really 11% of the population of Missouri? Or is this a program that needs to be revisited? Granted, amidst the government being open, but revisited and answering the question of how many illegal immigrants are on SNAP? How many people are on SNAP where they are disincentivized to work or eat healthy? Is this a healthy program, SNAP?
Well, this is one of the reasons we made a lot of reforms to SNAP earlier this summer in the president's big, beautiful bill. And we addressed some of those issues, Will, and there's probably more to do. But I'll just say this. The Democrats don't care about any of that, of course. They also don't care about the actual working people in my state and around the country who are qualified, who are needy, who are out there, American citizens doing their dead level best. They don't care about any of that. All they care about is they hate Donald Trump. They're trying to punish Donald Trump. And if that means that we have air crisis, security in our airports and in terms of our airspace, if it means the military doesn't get paid, people go hungry, they don't care. But I care. Republicans care. The president does. And it's time to bring this to a close.
There's no doubt. You're absolutely right. The Democrats don't care about the ones that need it, the ones that don't need it. It's shut down for everyone alike right now. But I do think that in order to protect SNAP for those that really do need it, we're going to have to ensure that it doesn't go to those who are unneedy or even not American citizens. President Trump, by the way, is on special report tonight with Brett Baer to talk about the government shutdown. Here's some of what you can expect a little later.
Is there a deal that can be made to end this government shutdown in your mind?
Well, I think the Democrats have become radicalized. I think, this never happened before. They always extend. An extension is very easy. It's done all the time. You extend, sometimes you extend 4 or 5 times. I mean, they become radicalized lunatics, actually, in a true sense. They should automatically extend, and we will make a deal as soon as they do. As soon as they do, we'll make a deal.
Senator, you did signal today that you would be open to the idea of doing what President Trump has asked, and that is doing away with the filibuster. Well, obviously, that would be advantageous right now to reopen the government. Any concerns at all about what that could look like in the future when Democrats have control of the Senate?
Well, I will just say this. Every day that the Democrats force the shutdown to go on, every day that they deny payment to our great federal law enforcement, every day that they hold hostage needy families, the president's arguments about the filibuster get a lot more attractive. And I think what he's saying makes a lot of sense, which is that the Senate needs to work. It needs to produce. Congress needs to produce. And if the Democrats are just if this is going to be the new norm, if they're just going to hold us hostage constantly for the next 3 years, we cannot allow that to happen. So I would just send a message to the Democrats out there. If you don't want that to happen, if you don't want the filibuster to be changed, then come to the table and start getting reasonable.
Couldn't you argue, Senator, they do want that? In fact, they do want to do away with the filibuster, and they could be baiting Republicans into doing just that, doing away with the filibuster.
Oh, they don't want it changed now, Will, but I think they do want the government shut down, and I think they'll do anything they can to derail the Trump presidency. We saw this in the first term. We saw them impeach him twice. We saw them investigate him endlessly. They can't do that right now, but they can keep the government closed. Yeah. They can try to impede his agenda, and they're doing that.
I do fear, by the way, that they would be some of the members of your body that would celebrate the loudest if we did away with the filibuster. It's just another check on their quest for unfettered power. 51 senators would be I'm sure that Chuck Schumer or whoever replaces Chuck Schumer will be very happy to have that be a standard going forward. You are working on something bipartisan, so before we go, I want to ask you about that. It's with Senator Mark Warner. It's an AI jobs bill. It's going to require companies, as I understand it, Senator, to ensure that AI is not, in part at least, AI is not accessible to young people. Tell me how this works and what you hope to accomplish with this bill.
Yeah, a couple of things. I mean, number one, when it comes to chatbot companions for minors, which is what I think you're referring to, we ought to just say that these AI companies cannot use chatbot companions and direct them towards minors. Why? Because they have been literally telling young kids how to commit suicide. Character AI, OpenAI, that's ChatGPT. We've had instance after instance when 13, 14, 15-year-olds go to these chatbots, ask for help on homework, and pretty soon the chatbot is saying, have you thought about committing self-harm? Have you thought about taking your own life? And then the kids tragically do so. This has got to stop. But also, when it comes to jobs,
yes,
we got to make sure that AI is actually helping workers, not taking away jobs, but helping them become more productive, creating new jobs. So what we've done is we want to pass a law that says, let's get the facts. Let's make these companies report how many jobs have they destroyed, how many jobs have they created. Let's make sure AI is actually doing something good for the American worker.
All right. We'll make sure we pay attention to that bill as it moves forward. Senator Hawley, good to talk to you today. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We are awaiting a major aviation update from Transportation Secretary Sean Duff. We're going to bring there live once it begins. And in the meantime, let's check in on the markets. All three indexes closing today in the green. Coming up, President Trump's global tariff fight is set to go before the Supreme Court. The big question, can the president's tariffs continue without congressional approval? But first, tomorrow is the 7th annual Fox Nation Patriot Awards. Host Sean Hannity will be joined by special guests and some big surprises, including First Lady Melania Trump. Limited tickets are still available at foxnation.com/Patriot Awards. I will see you there.
How do I go that big without spending that much?
Head to Lowe's. They have cool decorations like Bumble and the Grinch.
Lowe's helps you get more holiday for less.
The poverty is unimaginable. There are people who are struggling.
This is where she washes the dishes.
If you're ever going to allow your Christian faith to rise and to do something for God's chosen people, now is the time.
This is the home of Galena. She's 96 years old. This is what she had to eat for today. She has one pot with water and wheat. My father was killed by the Nazis, and I was an orphan. I didn't know about God. But now, in the cold, hungry nights, I pray for food to the God I've never known. There are good people that love you.
You see the tears. Scripture says joy can come in the morning, and you can be the reason.
Right now in Ukraine, elderly Jews are trapped in unbearable poverty. If you will bless these hurting children of Israel, you will receive God's blessing in return. Your urgent gift today of $25 will help rush a survival food box filled with life-saving essentials. Call, scan, or go online now.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I don't know how much longer she could have waited for us to come.
I can't even grow my food anymore. What will happen to me? I'm doomed to starve.
Tens of thousands of elderly Holocaust survivors in the former Soviet Union are living in extreme poverty.
Welcome back. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is speaking now as the record-breaking government shutdown continues to disrupt air travel. Let's listen in.
Yesterday, and then I also want to talk about air traffic controllers, the shutdown, and our staffing issues and the mitigation efforts that we've been deploying to make sure we keep the airspace safe. So first off, with regard to the crash last night, the NTSB gave a press conference earlier. There are a lot of videos online. A lot of theories have been deployed online based on what folks have seen. We are not in the business of theories. We don't speculate. We are going to wait for the facts to come out. And with those facts, we will present them to the American people, as well as with the NTSB. I'd also note the FAA has a ground team in conjunction with the NTSB, both of them are doing great work to get to the facts of what happened. I do want to extend my condolences to the families of those who lost loved ones in the crash. I did have an opportunity to speak with the union head of the UPS pilots, extended my condolences as well. He indicated that he was very good friends with the pilots on that aircraft. So condolences to the families. This issue, though, of the aircraft is very different than the second issue, which is air traffic controllers, which, by the way, this was not an air traffic control issue. It appears that it was a mechanical issue. Everyone's been clear on that. That is not speculation. Two very separate issues at play. In regard to air traffic control, we've had a conversation over the course of the last month about some of the challenges that we're having in the airspace. Many of you know that we are 2,000 controllers short, air traffic controllers short, and we have surged our academy to bring more controllers into our system. We are 20% up in controllers through the academy thus far this year. I've also offered air traffic controllers who are of the age of retirement a 20% upfront cash bonus to actually stay on. Some of the best controllers we have don't retire, keep working for us. All of that has been reducing the pressure on the staffing side of air traffic control. It's working, but it takes years to bring more well-trained certified controllers into the airspace. The shutdown is having an impact on our ability to maintain those numbers and dent that 2,000 shortage that we have. You also know we're modernizing the airspace. We have an old set of equipment that we use to control America's airspace. We have, though, the safest airspace in the world. And that's not because of the equipment. That's because of the well-trained air traffic controllers that we have operating the national airspace. We received $12.5 billion from the Congress in one big, beautiful bill. And we need a total of $31.5 billion to accomplish the mission of completely rebuilding America's airspace. The work has begun. We're transitioning our telecommunications. We're about to announce a project manager to do all of the work for this brand new system. But I want to talk about what's happening over the course of the last month with regard to the shutdown. Our air traffic controllers and a lot of those who work at DOT, but throughout government, they haven't received paychecks. And many of these employees they're the head of household. They have their spouse at home. They have a child or two or three. And when they lose income, they are confronted with real world difficulties in how they pay their bills. And so for air traffic controllers, they received a partial payment in early October. The second payment, they got a big fat zero, no paycheck at all. Tomorrow, they get a pay stub email on what their next paycheck is going to be. And when that pay stub comes out, that is also going to be zero. So they will have gone a month without any pay. And what we're finding is that our air traffic controllers, because of the financial pressures at home, are taking side jobs. They need to put food on the table, gas in the car, pay their bills. By the way, I do not want them to take side jobs. I want them to show up for work. We have asked them to show up for work, but I'm not naive to understand that they're trying to figure out how they meet their daily obligations. And so because of that, we have seen staffing pressures throughout our airspace. Those who travel will see that we've had more delays. We've had more cancellations. We do not want to see disruptions at the FAA or here at DOT. We don't want that. But our number one priority is to make sure when you travel safely. And that's why, as the administrator and I have been talking throughout the day, his team has been working for the last 24, 36, 48 hours crunching data. We're noticing that there's additional pressure that's building in the system. And again, our priority is to make sure that you're safe. And so we're going to talk about additional measures that we are going to take that's going to reduce the risk profile in the national airspace. And I'm going to turn it over to the administrator to do that as he walks through what that plan is going to look like. I anticipate there'll be additional disruptions. There'll be frustration. We are working with the airlines. They're going to work with passengers. But in the end, our sole role is to make sure that we keep this airspace as safe as possible. The administrator is going to talk about all of the tools we're going to deploy. One of them, though, is going to be that there is going to be a 10% reduction in capacity at 40 of our locations. The administrator is going to tell you that this is data-based. This is not based on what airline travels, has more flights out of what location. This is about where is the pressure and how do we alleviate the pressure. And so I want to thank him for, again, him and his team's great work. He'll lay out what the specifics are of this plan, and then we're happy to take questions from all of you. Brian Bedford.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Again, as the Secretary said, our primary mission at the FAA is to manage the airspace in the safest manner possible. That is our only focus. What we have been monitoring on a daily basis, frankly, hourly basis, is looking at all of the metrics that we use to surveil the NAS and its health and its well-being. And for the most part, we're happy to report that it is, running as efficiently today in terms of its safety metrics as it was prior to the lapse. But as we dig deeper into the data, what we find are issues of fatigue and that our flight controllers are experiencing. And we see that through voluntary safety disclosure reports coming in from commercial air transport pilots. That data has allowed us to focus not on the NAS as a whole, but on specific markets where we're seeing some of these reports come to us. And as we slice the data more granularly, we are seeing pressures build in a way that we don't feel will, if we allow it to go unchecked, will allow us to continue to tell the public that we operate the safest airline system in the world. And we're not going to react to that, and we intend to be proactive. So we're going to implement measures with our commercial airline industry partners, but this is going to go beyond commercial airspace. It's going to include restrictions on space launches, restrictions on VFR traffic in certain markets that have continued FAA controller staffing triggers, and a host of other countermeasures, if you will, that will give us the highest level of comfort that we're maintaining the safest aviation space in the world. And that's the mission. But we do recognize that the controllers have been working fastidiously for the last 5 weeks with this huge burden over their head of lack of compensation. And we are starting to see some evidence that fatigue is building in the system in ways that we feel we need to work towards relieving some of that pressure. So again, as the Secretary said, we've identified 40 High traffic environment markets, we'll be happy to share that later. We have decided that a 10% reduction in scheduled capacity would be appropriate to, again, continue to take the pressure off of our controllers. And as we continue to see staffing triggers, there will be additional measures that will be taken in those specific markets. Again, I think it's a holistic plan. I really appreciate the men and women at the FAA who have been working this situation from the get-go. I want to applaud the controllers who continue to come to work on a daily basis, keeping our system safe. But I also want to recognize the fact that the data is telling us we need to do more, and we are going to do more. And I want to reassure the American travelers that it is absolutely safe to fly in the American skies. So with that, I'd be happy to turn it over to you, Mr. Secretary, and or take any questions that you have.
Yeah, I want to reiterate, this is proactive. We don't want to find ourselves in a situation. I think the administrator said we don't want the horse out of the barn and then look back and say there were issues we could have taken that we didn't. So we are going to proactively make decisions that keep the airspace safe. With that, we're happy to take any questions you may have.
Dave Shepard. So just to confirm, those restrictions start Friday. Is that correct?
Those are going to start Friday morning.
And how are you going to apportion those among the airports, the airlines? Is this something the airlines have to do, come up with their own 10%?
And I'll let Brian address that, but again, it's going to be based on the locations, the 40 locations that we feel the pressure, and how that's going to be implemented. Brian, I'll let you answer that.
Yes, well, we'll be meeting with the airline community this evening to talk about how we'll move to implementation. We want to do this in an organized way. We want to make sure that planes get where they need to go for maintenance and crews get to where they need to be as we start to implement this drawdown in service. But it will be restricted to these 40 high volume traffic markets. We're going to ask the airlines to work with us collaboratively to reduce their schedules pro rata through the day. So we're going to look for a ratable reduction across these 40 markets over the next 48 hours.
So back of the envelope, that's 4,000, 3,500, 4,000 flights, and that's a significant number. And how do you think the airspace or the system is going to handle that dramatic reduction in such a short period of time?
Well, again, we're trying to lean into the fact that when we see pressures building in these 40 markets, we just can't ignore it, and we're not going to wait for a safety problem to truly manifest itself when the early indicators are telling us we can take action today to prevent things from deteriorating. So the system is extremely safe today. It will be extremely safe tomorrow. And if the pressures continue to build even after we take these measures, we'll come back and take additional measures. So again, we're trying to be prescriptive, surgical, put the relief where the relief will do the most good. But again, we are not going to do anything that will compromise the safety of air transport in the United States.
Thank you. Grady Trimble with Fox Business. I'm wondering, in the same vein as David's question, is there a plan to make sure that one airline isn't disproportionately affected, or one route or city or multiple cities aren't disproportionately affected by this? And to your knowledge, when was the last time this type of thing happened, and how did it go?
Well, I'm not aware in my 35-year history in the aviation market where we've had a situation where we're taking these kind of measures. Then again, we're in new territory in terms of government shutdowns. Also, I think we've learned things through the mishap, the tragic accident with DCA and PSA 5342. So our surveillance on the NAS is much different today than it was even a year ago. The data that we're looking at is much different and more granular today than it was a year ago. And we simply aren't going to ignore that. So again, I think it is unusual, just as the shutdown is unusual, just on the fact that our controllers haven't been paid for a month is unusual. These are unusual times, and we look forward to a time when we can get back to
You have been listening to Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announcing a 10% reduction in air traffic starting Friday morning at 40 locations across the United States of America. This reduction in air traffic will include commercial flights, VFR, that's visual flight rules, private flights, and as well as...
We have to open up our minds to figure out what's going on here. We have no choice at this point to do anything but get it, because we have to make it safer to travel, and that's ultimately what we're trying to do, is make it safer to travel. thank you for Fox News being on for most of the morning here, and I hope that you have enjoyed this. But the reason I started this broadcast was because I wanted to talk about Zohran Mam Damn. I don't think he should be mayor of New York. I think that that is a crying shame. And we're in a terrible situation, and we need to fix it. And you can help fix it, folks, because we don't have to let this go on. If we see socialism, communism in a capitalistic country, the United States of America, we have freedom, but the Democrats will go to any length to upset and change Donald Trump's way of doing business. And that's horrible, because that doesn't mean that we got what it takes here to run a country, run a city. I mean, think about what's going to happen next. It's going to be like nothing you've ever seen before. It's going to be an exodus from New York City for everybody but the Democrats that think they're going to benefit from all this. But guess what? They're going to learn the hard way, because socialism, communism does not work. It has been proven time and time and time again. So I really encourage you to also get it, because it's really important that we find what we need to do in order to be able to get this going. And we got to get them out of here. You know what I mean? Because if you don't get them out of here, that means they'll stay here. And you certainly don't want them staying here. That's right, because man damn, it'll be a man damn it. And you don't want that man damn it, folks. It's just too much. We need to get the country fixed, not more broken. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Zohran Man Damn it. I mean, man dammy. I mean, have you read anything about him? Do you know anything about him? I really want to share some things I've learned about him with you, if I can, because it's, listen to this. I'm going to try to get you some knowledge about this, but it's going to take you taking on what it takes to get this right. All right, I got to move the microphone over here because I can't do this and that at the same time. It's too much. Republican and right-wing criticisms and allegations against Zohran Man Damn. Okay, the following points represent criticisms and allegations leveraged, and that's the point, leveraged. We have it leveraged, folks, and we have to do something about this. It's just too much. Socialism, communism. He has been repeatedly labeled as a socialist, communist, Marxist, and a true extremist due to his self-described democratic socialist politics and his policy proposals. Now, who does that sound like? Bernie Sanders and AOC. And I've already told you, I've called all of their offices asking for a liberation. And now think about it. They have held this, government shutdown over us so that the Democrats would get the votes, and everything from Proposition 50 out in California to all the Democrats, governors running in New Jersey, Virginia, and now the mayor of New York City, which is just going to run people out of New York City. They're going to start coming south. You watch. Mock my words if you want to. They are not going to stay there and take the abuse of Zohran Mamdani. Mamdani, I think. That's right. Anyway, economic threat. Critics have warned that his policies pose a real economic threat, and they do. They are definitely going to threaten our economy, claiming they would destroy the city, cause the wealthy to flee, and lead to massive tax increases. Now, how's they going to pay for all this? How's free busing, free groceries, rent freezing? How are they going to pay for all this? Oh, God. Threatening to withhold federal funds to New York City if he won, arguing his victory would make it highly unlikely the city would receive funds. Dismissing his ambitious policies like universal child care, free city bus service, and rent freezes as unrealistic. Really? Is he going to do all that? Is he going to change his policies that he's already ran on and told all his constituents that voted for him and got him into office that he's not going to do those things now? Are you kidding me? Are you serious? So he's just a plain outright liar. Well, maybe that's true. Who knows? Allegations in anti-Semitism and stance on Israel. Jew hater. He has been called a proven and self-professed Jew hater by the U.S. president. Criticism of Israel. He has been heavily scrutinized by his views on Israel, his long-standing opposition to Israeli apartheid, occupation, and war, his comments calling the war in Gaza a genocide. Are you kidding me? Are you really seriously that dumb? Zohran Mam Damn. Okay, unheard of violence. He has been accused of making statements of unheard of violence about Israelis and Jews. Jewish state stance. He has stated he will not say Israel should exist as a Jewish state because he would not recognize any state's right to exist with a system of hierarchy on the basis of race or religion. Really? Okay. Globalize the Intifada. He was criticized for not immediately condemning the phrase globalize the Intifada, though he has since said he would discourage its use. Let's modify my words just a wee bit, he does. Zohran Mamdani. Oh, gives me the chills. How about you? Racism, Islamophobia, xenophobia. Mamdani has faced a slew of Islamophobic, racist, and xenophobic attacks. He has been condemned as a jihadist candidate for mayor. Opponents have tried to push a line promoting fear of him, and he was the target of racist attacks, suggesting he, an Ugandan-born South Asian Muslim, would celebrate terrorism or another 9/11. MAGA supporters have demanded he be deported back to India and have claimed foreigners elected him. Hindu-phobic remarks. A coalition of Indian American groups accused Mamdani of blatant bigotry and Hindu-phobia for allegedly failing to denounce anti-Hindu slurs at a 2020, I'm putting on a new pair of glasses, rally. So if he has failed to denounce anti-Hindu slurs at a 2020 Hindu rally, allegedly describing Hindu lawmaker as a puppet of Hindu fascists, criticizing his stance on India's Citizenship Amendment Act, CAA, criticizing him for not condemning attacks on Hindu temples. Do you hear that? Criticizing him for not condemning attacks on Hindu temples. What kind of human being is this Zan? What? How do you say his name? Oh my God. Zohran Mam Damn. That's how his name is said. Okay, I don't hate the guy, but I enjoy making fun of his name because it's damn it. He shouldn't be mayor of New York, and he shouldn't be part of our country's political frontier because he's definitely not what our country is about. I say, let's let's look at this more. Alleged disgusting secrets, criminal financial, illegal foreign contributions. He was hit with criminal referrals and scrutiny over allegations of accepting over $13,000 in illegal foreign contributions from at least 170 donors with addresses outside of the U.S., including one from his mother-in-law in Dubai. The Coolidge Reagan Foundation claimed he was a sustained pattern and a systematic failure to comply with campaign finance laws. The foundation urged the Department of Justice and the Manhattan DA to investigate and prosecute him, alleging that foreign money flowed into the race. We have to do something about this, folks. We can't just let it go on and on and on. Zohran Mamdani's platform and policies. You know what they are? Are you sure you know what they are? Zohran Mamdani's campaign centered on making New York City more affordable and reimagining its services. His platform, often described as democratic socialist, includes several bold and specific proposals across key areas: housing and affordability. Mamdani has consistently made housing affordability the heart of his agenda, drawing on his experiences as a former foreclosure prevention counselor. Did you hear that? His experience as a former foreclosure prevention counselor. What the heck is this guy about? Rent freeze. He has vowed to freeze the rent for tenants in the nearly 1 million rent-stabilized apartments in the city. Criticism. Opponents and experts warn that multi-year rent freeze could strain property owners, reduce the funds available for building maintenance, lead to deterioration of the housing stock, and ultimately shrink the affordable housing supply. Now, does this make much sense, folks? It doesn't work in the United States. We know it doesn't work anywhere. It's been proven time and time again. But yet these Democrats think that they're getting the dream of their lifetime because they will fall for anything if it sounds good at the moment. But they're going to get screwed in the long run. They just don't know it yet, unfortunately. I wish I could talk to each and every one of them one at a time. Affordable housing. He proposes a large-scale program including a $100 billion program to build 200,000 new publicly subsidized rent-regulated housing units, often referred to as social housing. Landlord accountability. His plan includes cracking down on bad landlords and supporting homeowners while ending deed theft. Public transit and childcare. To lower the cost and improve quality of life for working families, he proposes major overhauls to transit and social services, fast and fare-free buses. He plans to permanently eliminate the fare on every city bus and make them faster by rapidly building priority lanes and expanding bus queue, jump signals, and dedicated loading zones. Funding. The proposal, which critics note would cost significant money, would be funded by raising income taxes on residents earning over $1 million annually and increasing the state's corporate tax rate. Now, why would you want to stay if you made all that kind of money if you're going to be taxed because of Mamdani's policies? It's not happening, folks. He's going to lose his people he can tax. Universal child care. He has campaigned to provide free, high-quality child care for all city children between 6 weeks and 5 years old, and to expand existing pre-K and 3K programs. Public safety. Mamdani's public safety agenda focuses on public health and community-based approach to prevention. Oh, Lord, help me, please. Oh, God, Department of Community Safety, DCS. He proposes creating a new civilian agency with a proposed budget of $1.1 billion. The DCS would focus on prevention first, community-based solutions to address root causes of violence, such as poverty, mental illness, and housing instability. Police reallocation. Oh, here it comes, folks. He intends to remove the NYPD officers from roles like homeless outreach, specifically from PATH teams, and replace them with transit ambassadors, civilians trained to assist and connect people with social services, allowing police to focus on serious crime. Rikers Island closure. He supports the law requiring New York City to close Rikers Island and replace it with 4 borough-based jails, emphasizing that expanding supportive housing for people experiencing homelessness or mental health crisis would break cycles of incarceration. Really? Are you serious? Are you completely out of your cotton-picking mind, man? Damn it. Funding the agenda. To pay these ambitious programs, his platform calls for new tax revenue. Oh, here we go again. More money from the rich. Taxing the wealthy. Yep, there we go. And corporations. He plans to fund his proposals by raising taxes on corporations, matching New Jersey's 11.5% corporate tax rate, and on the wealthiest 1% of New Yorkers, those earning above $1 million annually. So why in God's name would anybody in any corporation that's making any money want to stay in New York now? Because they are being asked, would you like to leave to save yourself some money? It's the only thing they can do, and they're going to do it. But man, damn it, doesn't get it. Next step. Yes, I would like to know more about the criticisms of Mamdani's housing and economic proposals. The criticism of Zohran Mamdani's core proposals, particularly his rent freeze and tax hikes, are primarily driven by real estate industry, conservative think tanks, and business leaders. Really? Are you sure about that? They argue his policies are based on economic illiteracy, will have devastating long-term consequences, and are merely housing politics. Ooh, he's gonna lie to you? Do you really think that wasn't coming? Do you really think that he's gonna give you everything that you thought he was going to give you? Do you really think he's gonna take care of the people that could take care of you? I don't think so. The most intense criticism is leveled at the proposal to freeze the rent for all rent-stabilized units, discouraging investment and supply. Opponents argue that freezing rents disincentivize both the construction of new housing and the maintenance of existing stock. Reduced supply. Developers become reluctant to build in areas where their properties may become subject to rent controls, worsening the overall housing shortage and driving up costs for market rate units. De-incentivize maintenance. How are you going to pay for the repairs needed to these buildings if you lock the prices? Because they cost, and they're like, I don't know where you live, but wherever I've ever lived, the rent has to go up to count, for the investment that the landlord has put into the property and to compensate them for the money that they do during the course of the year for investing in your house and the weaknesses and the things that fall apart. What Mamdani once proposes is that they get stuck with having to take care of the rental units without having the ability to get a rent increase to compensate them for everything that they have invested in and lost throughout all the units that they may own. And it's just not fair. It's just wrong, and it doesn't offset it properly. And I don't see the government being able to afford to do what Mamdani is trying to do. It's just wrong. Okay, a rent freeze cuts the primary source of revenue for property owners, especially small mom and pop landlords, to cover rising costs like property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. This leads to deterioration of buildings and, in extreme cases, the abandonment of units or foreclosures. Small landlord harm critics small landlord harm. Critics claim that the policy disproportionately harms striving immigrant and minority small property owners. AOC, what happened here, honey? You really think you're from Puerto Rico? Are you an immigrant? Oh, no, you're an American, right? I'm sorry, I forgot, but a pain in my butt. All right. Who rely on rental income to pay their mortgages? Not wealthy real estate magnates. Some warn that foreclosures and distress sales could lead to an affordable housing Armageddon. Ooh, we have problems here, folks. Wake up! Seriously. Legal and political obstacles. Conservative think tanks and legal experts point out that the mayor does not have unilateral power to enact a multi-year freeze. The Rent Guidelines Board, RGB, Rent Guidelines Board, which sets to the increase, must consider economic data. Man damn it's predetermined commitment to freeze could be challenged in court as an instance of prejudgment or biased. No, really? I'm sure they're correct. Delayed price shock. Imagine this. Critics like the Manhattan Institute argue that rent freezes only pile up costs. At some point, inflation and accumulation expenses will necessitate a much larger, more painful rent hike from future administration, creating a massive burden on tenants then. Benefits only the already regulated. The policy would not help the majority of New Yorkers who are in the free market where rents are soaring fastest. It locks older, often higher income tenants into below market units, in reducing the supply available for younger, lower income families who are new to the city. Sounds horrible to me. I don't see anything that's going to really benefit these people. It is horrible what's happening. Man, damn it. Mamdani's proposals are communist, socialist, and wrong. And Trump has been trying to do something about it, but what are you folks doing, you Democrats? Allowing him to come in because he gives you hopes and dreams that he's going to take care of you. Well, he ain't your big brother. He ain't your father. And he ain't going to take care of you like he says he's going to do because he can't do it anyway. Oh, God. State level obstacles. A significant hurdle noted by critics is that the mayor requires approval from the state legislature and governor. Well, the governor's Democrat, so she should probably give him any approval that she wants because the House of Representatives that are Democrats and the senators that are Democrats are all going to tell the governor, please, if Mamdani says it, say yes. I can already hear the voices going into the female governor's head. To implement any tax rate changes, key state leaders have historically been opposed to increasing income taxes, creating a major roadblock for Mamdani's funding model. What else is there? Do you really think this is going to work, folks? I hope you have an opinion. I hope you make comments in this program down below. I hope you subscribe. I hope you click on notifications. I just hope you do. I'm not making anything from this, nor am I really trying. But I want to share with you a wake-up call. This Mamdani, Zohran Mamdani's. Mamdani's? Is it Mamdani or Mamdamit? I don't know. I can't figure it out. But what I'm really upset at him for, being able to win the governor's race. Not the governor's race. He might as well win the governor's race because the Democrats over there are, they're, no matter what, a Democrat does, we've got to say yes. Come on. Chuck Schumer didn't even, give him his vote. And there were many other people in the Senate and House that did not give Mamdani's vote. They didn't get behind him and say yes. And they were Democrats and they didn't even get behind him because they feared the unconstitutional system of stepping out of the original Christian manner that our country was founded on by our forefathers. Our forefathers! Does that even matter anymore? Because right now, Man damn it's forefathers are the only thing that he seems to care about. And he's trying to lie to you people up in New York to get you convinced that he's telling the truth. And he's going to help you. Oh, it may appear to work for a little bit, but it's no way can it afford to sustain itself or keep it going. And you're going to pay for it. You're going to end up suffering because of man damn it's proposals and what he's going to do. But you voted for him, so now you got to go through it. You're going to lose residents of New York City on all the boroughs because they're sick and tired of having to pay the bills for everybody else, especially a Mamdani's proposal. It's just wrong. And these things have to be fixed, folks. And we have to do something. We have to call our congressmen. We have to call our senators. We have to call people. We have to, send a letter to the president of the United States. What can we do to fix this problem? This is wrong. I don't even want to go where I'm going to go, but New Jersey's election should have been a Republican. Virginia's election for governor should have been a Republican. Proposition 50 in California should have never went through, but they're playing the shutdown of the government in such a way that the Democrats are buying. They're buying the fact that they think the Republicans are causing this, when it is, in fact, the Democrats that have caused this. Every Republican has voted to continue running the government and funding the government, but it's the few Democrats that are absolutely needed and required in a quorum to be able to do the government, to turn it back on, to turn the government back on, to finance SNAP and EBT programs, to finance the traffic controllers, to finance our soldiers, to finance all these government programs that need financing. This is, other than Fetterman, Pennsylvania Senator Fetterman, who I respect and I appreciate and would love to speak to him sometime and let him talk, but he gets on so much TV, he probably doesn't even want to talk to me. But bottom line is that he's a Democrat and he believes that what we're doing here by holding the government shut down is wrong, because he knows, like we know, the people are hurting and they're going to do whatever they have to, or they think they have to, in order to be able to get supplemented. And that's exactly what Mamdani is promising. Mamdani. Zohran Mamdani is promising that he will make it so that it works. Whether the government's open or not, your man, Zohran Mamdani, is going to make things work better. He's not. It's going to fail. It's going to cost everybody more than you think it's going to cost. And you're going to lose a lot of wealthy people who would have normally contributed to the tax rolls, and corporations that no longer want to be there anymore because they don't want to be footing the bill for Zohran Mamdani's proposals. It's just wrong. And we have to do something about it, folks. I love you, and I mean it. I just hope that you understand what I'm trying to say. We got a huge situation here, folks. We got to take a look at the world outlook here. And the world outlook looks like that. That's the whole wide world, folks. I don't understand why I have this video in the background that doesn't seem to want to come up as it keeps on showing this question mark, but there you go. There's the world, and we have that. And here's our beautiful United States of America, and we're right there. And then we got Russia and China over here, and we got to understand and respect that we got so much going on in our world, and President Trump is doing everything he can to try and stop wars, stop killing, stop everything, and make everything that is bad work in our favor. Everywhere for all people, because he wants peace. He doesn't want destruction. He doesn't want bombs going off. He really doesn't. The only reason you have these things is in order to use them as a deterrent from using them. That's it. And he knows that. And so does Vladimir Putin. So does Xi in China. They all know it. They certainly don't want to blow up their own countries and citizens and or ours in order to get what they want. They'd rather do it another way if they could. Negotiate. Tariffs. It's working, folks. But The stuff that's happening in our country right now is, I must admit to you, is really, it's disgusting to me, and I don't even know how. I don't even know how to have it get fixed. But I assure you, my friends, I really do. I assure you that we have to do something about it. And in the meantime, I want you to know that the Lord, I'm a minister, the Lord is with you. And I found this song, and it is the most beautiful song, but these guys have released it all over the place in so many different ways. And I'm just playing it because it's so good. And then after this, I'm going to just end the program. But I'm telling you right now, I want you to listen to this song and just be inspired. We are a Christian nation who has Christian values, and we're capitalistic, and we need to work together to be able to work a rational budget, not the man damn it's budget who's going to destroy everything. And then he thinks, and the Democrats think, this is going to spread like wildfire around the whole country. Just keep the government closed, and they'll all vote for man damn it's everywhere around the country. That's what they think. They really do think that. You got to wake up, folks, and we got to make these changes now. Anyway, enjoy this song. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. Subscribe, click on notifications, and God bless you with all my heart and soul. I love you, my brothers and sisters.
Lately there's been a fire burning in my soul. It's taking full control. I'll never let it go. 'Cause life can be hard when you feel like you're all alone. Nobody there to hold, nobody there to know you.
In the depths of my soul, fire burning bright. Made it out of darkness when I saw his light. Every single heartbeat, I could feel his grace. I'm not in a rush, I'm setting my own pace. There's a fire in my soul more than just a flame. Was a slave to my mind, now I feel unchained. Now it's easier to get up every time I fall. All this love I possess, man, it conquers all. I know he got me through all of the highs and lows. Every path, every turn, every single road. I know that he there when I feel alone. Feel like I can't fail, I'll achieve my goals. There ain't a struggle I can't overcome. Even if you hate me, I still show you love. Was so anxious, confused, I was so depressed. Every breath, every step, now I feel so blessed.
There's been a fire burning in my soul. It's taking full control. I'll never let it go. 'Cause life can be hard when you feel like you're all alone. Nobody there to hold, nobody there to know you.
God lifted me out the darkest place. I worked so hard to beat the demons I faced. Circle getting smaller every single year. If I cut off on my friend, it might disappear. Every single day I would go and chase my vice. Now I know why God didn't take my life. 'Cause I got a bigger purpose and now it's clear. Exactly the reason for why I'm here. Letting go of the habits that hold me back. For my kids and my wife, now I'm right on track. I had to leave a couple people in the past who couldn't grow with me, but I'm not sad. Satan been whispering them pretty lies. I never stay down, when I fall I rise. A father, a husband, a son, and a man. All I had to do was just trust in his plan.
Lately there's been a fire burning in my soul. It's taking full control. I'll never let it go. 'Cause life can be hard when you feel like you're all alone. Nobody there to hold, nobody there to know you. This lonely road has been so long. I forgot the feeling of love, but I'm changing now. Finally see that I'm blessed. The pain I had erased all the good, but now I'm coming back. Lately there's been a fire burning in my soul. It's taking full control. I'll never let it go. 'Cause life can be hard when you feel like you're all alone. Nobody there to hold, nobody there to know you.
Jesus taught the Lord's Prayer to his disciples in the Aramaic language. Is this manner? Therefore pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done. As in heaven, so on earth. Give us the bread we need today. And forgive us our sins and our debts, as we forgive those who sin against us. Do not bring us to trial, but deliver us from evil. For yours the kingdom, the power and the glory, to the ages of ages. Amen.